It's like opening the Pandora box in Mexico. It's kind of like that. It's a huge country. It has a very wide variety of people, environments. We have great food, very ancient culture. It's a very fascinating country to learn things about because of all it has to offer.
Soccer is like the culture here in Mexico. And I don't know, I want to try like anything else. Like, I want to be different, you know?
I don't think the world knows that there's a hockey culture in Mexico. They still think that it's something weird that it's happening there. We are only a bunch of crazy people that are working in hockey in Mexico. It's not my job anymore, it's my life, literally.
Hockey es un estilo de vida, es un amigo, es un confidente, es una familia, es amor.
This is hockey.
Esto es hockey.
This is hockey?
Esto es hockey. México.
Entonces, bien importante que Left Tree High haga su 2 contra 1 para que no puedan sacar tiros arriba. Obviamente no va a servir de nada si no tenemos net front presence. ¿Ok? Venga, niñas, let's go. It's a hate/love story, right? Like if you ask me right now, I would say I love it, but maybe if you ask me tomorrow, I would say I hate it. So you never know. My name is Diego de la Garma, and I'm the head coach of the Mexican national hockey teams. Hockey is my full-time job. I split it like in 2 parts. One is coaching the Mexican national teams, and then I have a company that actually develops hockey in Mexico. So I run 4 clubs, leagues, tournaments, etc., etc. So that's my full-time job. Between those 2, it's everything. Entonces tienes que acercar, o sea, no te le pegas porque te va a ganar, pero más o menos a las hash marks y con el stick hacia él para que en cuanto pique ya lo puedas agarrar, ¿ok? Y hay que cambiar rápido, como son 3, una cambia todo el tiempo, para no cansarse. ¿A quién tienes, Pusa? ¡Atrás de ti! Cambia free. Hockey is my life. Like, my dad is the president of the federation, my wife is the best player, my brother used to be the goalie for the national team. It's all around. Like, for me, 24 hours hockey, that's what it is. Working full-time hockey in Mexico, it's complicated. It's a lot of time because you get, as we say, a lot of different hats. So you have to be changing your hat all the time. And obviously, every time you're wearing another hat, that means more time, right? So sometimes I use the hat of the national coach, of the technical director, of my dad, or my president, or my wife, or my player. But that's how Mexican hockey is. Like, if you talk to anybody, we are just a bunch of people that are really working for developing the hockey, that we have to be into everything, because if not, nothing would happen. No day offs. You're working all the way from Monday to Sunday. No vacations, no holidays, never, because it's either the local clubs or the local league or any national team, the World Championship, everything. So it's something that I enjoy a lot, and obviously sometimes can get a little bit, like too much, but I like it. So it's part of my life right now, nowadays. It is what it is. My father's full name is Joaquín de la Garma, and he's the president of the Mexican Ice Hockey Federation. He's a former rower who was in the Olympics, Munich 72, and he started to get really, really bad bleedings from his nose. My grandmother asked the doctor any suggestion for that, and the doctor said, yeah, he has to be in cold weather. So that's how he started to play hockey. I think it was 92 or something. A rink close to my place opened it up, and my dad was like, you're gonna try this. I'm like, literally crying. No, Dad, why are you forcing me? I don't like this sport. I like basketball, and I like cars racing, stuff like that. And he was like, you know what? You're gonna try it for 2 months, and if you don't like it, okay, you can get back to basketball. So the first probably 2 practices, I don't want to skate and grabbing the boards like this and stuff like that. But after that, everything clicked. I used to be a goalie for the national team, and it became my passion. And I played 14 World Championships for Mexico. Then I got hired as a coach, and now I'm working with some of the NHL teams too. My mom used to say at the beginning, he was crying because he wanted to leave the ice right away. And now, every time we want to take him out of the ice, he's crying for staying on the ice. But that's how it started. Literally, my dad forced me to try a new sport. That's how it started.
Oigan, chavos, si van a hacer echarse para atrás, para abrir espacio, si ellos se van para atrás y los delanteros se quedan aquí, aquí y aquí, venga, chavos.
¡Osi, osi, osi!
¡Ay, ay, ay!
¡Osi!
¡Ay!
¡Osi!
¡Ay!
¡Osi, osi, osi!
¡Ay, ay, ay!
¡Un, dos, tres! ¡Oso!
Claudia Telles is my wife, and she's one of the best players we do have in the women's side right now. She's impressive. Like every World Championship, she ends up in the top 10 of scoring list. Since they start to have these huge results in international tournaments, the number of girls playing hockey is, you have no idea the growth we've had in that part.
Forche, patina más rápido el cabezón. Ustedes tienen que agarrar al jugador a quien les hace el pase, ¿sale? O sea, por ejemplo, ahí háganse más para atrás, más.
Our women's national team right now, it's the 24th ranked country in the world, which is huge. Like if you talk of team sports in Mexico, probably softball is higher than us, but we are better ranked at soccer, that basketball, that volleyball. That's crazy. I mean, it's crazy. I think it's great. Like they are heroes. They are our best players. Talking about Claudia, and they really put their time into, passing that torch and that passion to the next generation of players. That's awesome. So yeah, that's Claudia.
Ahorita yo soy entrenadora del Club Osos y te puedo decir que la mitad de mis equipos, ¿no? Yo dirijo Bantam, que es sub-15 y sub-18, y en Bantam tengo la mitad del equipo son niñas. Se está comiendo a las mujeres ahora los equipos de hombres. Mi nombre es Claudia Telles, yo pertenezco a la selección mexicana de hockey sobre hielo femenil y soy entrenadora de la selección sub-18 femenil. Jamás me imaginé que pues, mi vida iba a ser un estilo de vida de hockey sobre hielo, de hockey sobre ruedas, de todo esto y tampoco me imaginé pues, la magnitud y la primera vez que encontré el hockey me parece que fue cuando fueron los Juegos Olímpicos de invierno, me tocó verlos en la televisión. Y desde ahí tuve un flachazo en mi corazón. Desafortunadamente, en ese entonces no había hockey sobre hielo femenil en México y mucho menos en Guadalajara, que es de donde soy. Yo fui con mi mamá a buscar la posibilidad de entrar a los equipos de hockey que había en ese entonces, pero desafortunadamente no se pudo. Fue hasta los 17 años que encontré el hockey sobre ruedas. Entonces yo empiezo a jugar con mis amigos, mis vecinos, en la calle, tal cual. Bueno, pues me aventé un año sabatino sin estudiar. Obviamente mi familia estaba un poco preocupada por qué va a ser Claudia, no va a estudiar en la universidad. Se metió en un deporte exótico que le decía a mi papá. Afortunadamente, una persona que es Joaquín de la Garma tuvo la iniciativa de llamar a todas esas niñas jugadoras de ruedas para formar la primer selección femenil. Dije, bueno, mi sueño es ir a unos Juegos Olímpicos y una persona llega y me dice, ven, vamos a los Juegos Olímpicos, pero por supuesto, entonces, ¿qué tengo que hacer? Te tienes que venir a la Ciudad de México, yo te ofrezco trabajo. Entonces, empecé ahí y yo parecía Bambi, literal, se me abrían los pies, no podía frenar, era un pelear porque pues yo dominaba ruedas y llegaba a un espacio donde no podía hacerlo al 100, donde me estaba cayendo, me estrellaba contra las bardas. Por fin entramos a la carrera de la IHF, ¿no? Clasificatorios, entrar a los campeonatos mundiales. Entonces vamos a este evento que es el WeekFest en Calgary. Es de una gran jugadora que es Hayley Wickenheiser y fue así como un wow, ¿qué es esto? Jamás en mi vida había visto jugar a mujeres con ese nivel, con esa garra, casi como hombres con checks. Y o sea, yo quiero estar ahí. ¿Cómo le hago? Yo ya me iba a retirar teniendo 32 años. Y fui con Diego y le dije, oye, Diego, ¿qué tengo que hacer para estar ahí, no? Híjole, pues volver a nacer, ¿no? Y empecé a entrenar desde los 3 años. Y bueno, vengo súper motivada, me meto a internet y descubro que existe un draft. Dije, pues, que a ver qué pasa, ¿no? Y fue elegida en el 8º pick, ¿sí? Me elige Calgary Inferno. O sea, para mí fue algo increíble, la verdad. Fue muy difícil, los nervios estaban al 100. Y pues bueno, llego a mi vestidor donde decía Claudia Telles, ¿no? O sea, me hice chiquita y al mismo tiempo enorme, ¿no? Estaba súper feliz y nerviosa al mismo tiempo. Y veo, no sé, 5 o 6 jugadoras con los aros tatuados en su cuerpo, ¿no? En la pierna, no sé dónde. Y yo, wow, o sea, casi lloro ahí, ¿no? O sea, ¿qué hace una mexicana que acaba de empezar a jugar hace 4 o 5 años con estos dioses, ¿no? O sea, fue algo, la verdad, impresionante para mí. Se me hace la piel chinita y es algo que nunca voy a olvidar. Creo que es lo más cercano que voy a estar a jugadoras de Juegos Olímpicos, ¿no? Como tal. Una vez que termino mi experiencia en Calgary Inferno, regreso a la Ciudad de México. Tengo 15 días de preparación con la selección mexicana. De ahí nos vamos a Islandia, al Campeonato Mundial de la División 2B. La verdad no teníamos muchas expectativas porque varias jugadoras de las veteranas habían salido y tuvimos la sorpresa de ganar ese campeonato mundial. Yo creo que ha sido de mis mejores mundiales. Uno de mis momentos más importantes con la selección femenil. Fue un momento importante para mí y para la selección, el haber podido subir de división, la división 2A. La verdad es que mi vida ha sido muy, muy importante, muy feliz, muy relevante gracias al hockey sobre hielo y gracias a este equipo, que es una familia, que es algo que me ha marcado y que en el momento en que me retire, obviamente las lágrimas y todo va a ser difícil, ¿no? Hasta cómo va a seguir siendo, ¿no?
Mexico's hockey is in the middle of a transition because I think women's hockey is a little bit better than men's. There was a time when things were the other way around, so I think that's an interesting challenge for Mexican hockey, if you allow me to say that. My name is Israel Germán. I'm a writer and an editor for the official website of the NHL in Spanish. I've always been a fan of ice hockey, particularly, obviously, of the NHL. I think I am kind of a weird Mexican in that sense. The most important market for us is, because of the population we have, is Mexico. The Spanish-speaking population in the United States is also very important for us, but obviously all of the Latin American readers. Personally, I love to write about Austin Matthews because he embraces the Mexican culture. And obviously, you look towards representation that link you to that particular sport, that particular league. So Austin Matthews is that guy for us. One step that I think it's necessary is for him to come, to go play with kids, have clinics, to promote hockey. Because if you see somebody that has your same background, it makes you interested in that particular subject, in that particular matter. Back in the 90s, we had a soap opera. The translation would be Pink Shoelaces. A lot of the scenes was in an ice rink, and that created like a lot of curiosity for people. I think that's the time the hockey program in Mexico started. And the other is that on cable TV, you had the chance to watch hockey games on TV. People started to see or to watch this very weird, this uncommon sport, and they said, this is interesting. Those two factors kind of kickstarted a little bit of passion for hockey in Mexico.
It was like a huge boom for Mexican hockey. We call them like the golden years, actually. That's where everybody that is coaching right now or is involved in hockey right now started.
Yo creo que mi primer equipo fue Colorado Avalanche. Yo estaba muy chica, fue cuando estaba Jaromir Jagr. Perfecto, recuerdo eso. Lo dibujaba en mis cuadernos, etc.
I started watching hockey and I fell in love with the game to the point that I had the will to save money, to buy my equipment so I could get to the rink and practice a little bit of hockey.
That's where I would say like a hockey culture started. At the beginning it was all Mexico City, but then it grew to Querétaro, Puebla, Monterrey, León, and then even to the southern part of the country, like places like Mérida, and in a few months a rink in Cancun is gonna open.
In order to be a full member of the IIHF, you must have at least one ice rink in your country, and Mexico has like 10 or 15. That's really what puts Mexico ahead of the other countries, because other countries doesn't even have an ice rink, so they're starting from zero really. But now the challenges are very different because a lot of countries are trying to make their story, right? So what's next? How do you build it? How do you make it stronger? How do you make it better?
The way that the IHF World Championships work, and there's like divisions, so it's Division 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, 3A, 3B, and all the way into 5th Division or qualifiers or something. We won Division 3B, the next year we won Division 3A. The thing is that in the Division 2, it's like this huge difference between Division 2B and 3A. From Division 2B and higher, you get like countries have pro players. Once we reached to Division 2B, we were like, you know what? If we want to take the next step, we need to have at least a semi-professional league where players can get some money out of it, and actually they can put way more time into hockey, right? Because if not, it's just like a hobby league, so like a beer league, basically. But if we don't start it, it's never gonna happen. The Liga Mexicana Elite, I started it literally myself with the help of the federation, my dad, and a good friend of me that is involved in hockey too, Luis Olivares. We have like around 100 players. Every team has probably 3 players from the national team. Some others are used to play and they don't play anymore in the national team. The names are Mayan Astronomers, Teotihuacan Priests, Aztec Eagle Warriors, Olmec Stoneheads, and the Tarascan Archers. So those are the 5 teams. Hopefully, I don't know exactly when, but in the next 2 years, we're gonna be able to expand a team from Puebla or a team from Monterrey, so it's all around the country. Even we are talking with some teams in the States, in the border with Mexico, to see if we can make it like an international league eventually. We have a really good partnership with a team from El Paso, El Paso Rhinos. In Europe, every single country now it's mixing with other countries to do this. And obviously the USA and Canada do it all the time. So that's our goal, to have this international league someday, and that's how they're gonna be able to put more time into it and hopefully one day winning Division 2B in the men's side. So that's how the Liga Mexicana Elite started. It's working and the league is getting better and growing every single year.
Hockey is not like a super common sport here in Mexico, like super rare. And if you play hockey, it's like weird in here. I love to be like the different guy because I was used to hockey. I was used to the weather in here, to the cold, to the fast of the sport, to the contact too. And soccer, they are like different, you know, but I don't like it at all. I'm Said Ayala. I'm 20 years old and I play defense. I started playing hockey when I was 3 years old. I was just like walking around the mall and I saw the rink and I was just like, hey, I want to skate. I want to try that sport. I cried a lot. I cry like every single time I get into the ice. Like the first 2 years, it was hard for me, but my parents just put me on the ice. My parents already paid like the membership of the month, so they were like, you need to skate. Like, I already paid for it. But then I like just get noticed that I can be better than that. I saw that it was like the most beautiful sport.
Go, 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 go!
I started playing in the Liga Mexicana de hockey 5 years ago. Diego de la Garma, my coach, took me to the Olmecs when I was 15. It's getting more intense. There are some games that it's just penalty by penalty by penalty. There's a lot of rivalries between us players, but what happens on the ice stays on the ice, so nothing happens.
Sí, estamos aquí listos para ver una final que realmente se antoja emocionante entre Aztec y Olmec, dos equipos que van a dar todo para ser el campeón de esta temporada 2023 de la Liga Mexicana de Elite de Hockey.
On the final, that was a super fun experience because I was on Dallas because we have like a small tournament and I took a flight from Dallas to Mexico and I get to Mexico like at 8 and the game was at 8. I get to the final when it was 10 minutes missing and we were tied and super nervous. My last shift, I remember I just get into the ice and I scored the game-winning goal. It was crazy and funny. The feeling was just amazing. There was a lot of people in there too, maybe 200, I think. I mean, that's too much for us. It was a nice feeling.
Olmec es el nuevo campeón de la Liga Mexicana Elite de Hockey sobre Hielo. 2-1 llevándose la victoria de Gabriel. Un partido de emoción que esperábamos. Se la llevaron de principio a fin, desde el partido 1 al partido final.
Escuchen, pongan atención. 2 filas. Una acá, una acá. ¿Sale? Van, go. 2 filas. Vas primero. Manuel. ¿Listos? Go. Allá, 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 allá. Allá. ¡Ay! Chócalas.
Right now, we are in a town near Mexico City. It's called Metepec. The rink is called Winter Sports Center. It's a huge rink, I think one of the best in Mexico City for sure. Me and my sister are coaches here in Metepec. My sister started first in figure skating when she was 5 years old, and then she moved to hockey when she was 7.
Todos que me llevo. Azules para allá. Todos.
Okay.
Igual así como estaban. ¿Listo, Raúl? Que no te anten ni un solo gol, ¿ok? ¡Lista! ¡Go!
Right now, in total, in the whole academy, we have 80 kids. We have kids from 3 to 60. We run like all the ages too. The most important part is small kids. We think we need to get more on point with them because that's the future of hockey in Mexico. So we need to improve that. And I think my sister and I have a lot of things to help with those small kids to get better at.
¡Ay, Javi, tira! ¡Hola, Javi!
When you see the kids smiling when they're playing and that you see that they are pretty good and it's coached by you, the love you feel when you saw the kids enjoying the sport, it's a nice feeling.
Siguientes! Go!
Next year is going to be the IIHF World Championship here. It's going to be here in this rink
Listo. Listo.
on Division 3B. We need to for sure win that championship because we just went from the 3A, we just went down. So we need to win it for sure. I need to practice a lot, get in shape too. We have a whole year to do that, so we have time.
We are going to host 2 World Championships next year, the Boys U18 and the Men's World Championship. After all we've been talking, this is a really good step.
There's a lot of buzz about this possible NHL exhibition game coming to Mexico. There are a lot of teams that want to come when they decide to come to Mexico to make that particular exhibition games. I think that's going to be a point of inflection in terms of, okay, hockey's growing, but if you bring a game, it's only going to get better.
It's not going to be just one game. I do believe it's going to be a lot of games. Between the Mexican kids that are playing hockey right now, the people that used to play hockey at some point, and all the Americans and Canadians are literally moving to Mexico, you can have a lot of fans here in Mexico cheering for NHL teams in those games.
Tenemos que trabajar, tenemos que aferrarnos porque es muy difícil en México, ¿no? En un país donde no hay hockey, donde hay apenas 20 pistas de las cuales 10 tienen hockey. Entonces se vuelve algo importante. Espero poder aportar en un futuro hasta donde yo pueda, hasta donde mi familia pueda. Desde que ahí encontré a mi esposo, a mi hija, hasta que encontré a mis hermanas, encontré mi trabajo, encontré mi pasión. La verdad es que es un estilo de vida. Yo la verdad me imagino viendo a René, espero, como seleccionada nacional sub-18 y en su momento mayor. Espero verla ahí, ¿no? Digo, también ella la vamos a dejar ser, pero claramente vamos a empezar con el hockey sobre hielo.
Dale, dale. Camínale. Eso, muy bien, René. Wow.
I think the world for Mexican hockey when Renee turns 15, my baby girl, it's one of those points in life where you can really develop it to the next level, or you can stay here forever and eventually going down. So I'm gonna be a little bit optimistic here. And hopefully we're gonna have, 30 rinks, 30 clubs hockey. Hopefully the NHL is gonna be super involved, like the way it's going right now, it can happen because it's a market for the NHL, that's a fact. And hopefully we can get to, 5,000 registered players. Right now we have 1,500. With more better players, you get more stars. And with more stars, why not eventually having a Mexican-born player in the NHL?
It's an everyday job that you have to do in terms to make this sport more popular in Mexico. But I think not only Mexico, I think Latin market for the NHL is great. It's a wide open space.
Hockey means everything for me right now. Como despegarse de algo. Siento que el hockey ha sido una formación bastante importante en mi vida. Me ha educado, me ha puesto responsabilidades, me ha hecho entender muchísimas cosas, me ha dado muchas oportunidades y me ha me ha enseñado como las diferentes partes y caras de la vida.